Well, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that it's transformed the club over the past 5 years. We have, as a club, been here since 1890 in the village, which is one of the oldest organisations. We needed a boost, and Fair Share was that boost. The big project was the refurbishment of the changing facilities and the extension of the social area, which included kitchen, toilets and a storeroom. The recent fund has helped us to extend the patio, and it's completely transformed the front of the pavilion. Because we've got so many youth sides, we need some more facilities for storage. So we've managed to get a storage container, a new storage container onto site. Through the improved facilities, we're able to encourage more youngsters from the village to start playing cricket at Monk Bretton, and this season's been our best ever season for junior cricket. The level of cricket that they're playing means that we've about 7 or 8 youngsters who have played for Barnsley schools, Barnsley boys, South Yorkshire boys, and 1 youngster's actually played for Yorkshire B this year.
A lot of people are not aware that it's Fair Share, and I think this perhaps today and the putting up the board by the Pheasant will make more people aware, but it has had quite a lot of difference. I mean, there's been quite a lot of changes to the Methodist Church through the Fair Share grant. I think the cross project has been absolutely wonderful, because that again was another sorry sight, the cross, which of course had been paid for by a Fair Share grant. So I do think that it has had an impact on the village.
People will be able to look at these display boards at the side of the Pheasant pub and have a stroll round and see actually the buildings as they are today. Some of them are still standing. It was such an historic village. I mean, I can remember bow windows and the old-fashioned handmade glass on properties in High Street as we see it today. But this trail is something that school children will be able to use for the local studies. So it's a wonderful thing for them. Look at the boards, and then they can go on the way and they can follow the trail of history in Monk Bretton.
One of the things with our church, initially when we built it in 1963, one of the requirements was from the people who grant the money from Methodist Church, you couldn't have any money unless it was a community church, or in effect, you couldn't put pews in. So we weren't allowed to put pews in. So we had somebody had a vision that they wanted a community church, and it taken time. Eventually, we've got a community church now. It's used practically every day of the week now. And those posters that you've seen on display today, I think it's a fantastic achievement through the efforts of our members, but also for Fair Share having seen the worthwhileness of what they were trying to do for Monk Bretton coming to light and life today.
Some projects, such as the Methodist Church and the Cricket Club, have benefited greatly from it. I can't see any other organisation that could have put money into Monk Bretton like the Fair Share has done.
Fortunately for me, they were looking for projects that started quickly, and I was there. It's on we got it on the drawing board, so we could put a cost to it, and we were the first item that Fair Share provided with a friendship garden, and it's on view now today, and it's being used. It was quite a step in the dark for us, because everybody was saying, oh, well, it'll get vandalised. So what? We're going to persevere. We kept getting plants picked out and over the railways and rails, but eventually they got tired of it. And we then said, right, we've won.
I think, as we can see from today, as we concentrate on this celebration event here in Monk Bretton, there's a lot of energy and enthusiasm. I think there's been a culture change. So we can see through the capacity we've been able to build through the fund and the funding that's taking place in the areas, that people are starting to achieve that community pride. That was one of the main things in Monk Bretton. We're seeing changes in the physical environment, which is another area that we wanted to concentrate on. Health You know, people are out there active in the community, and we also wanted to invest in children and young people. And as we can see from the work that's been done and the activities here at the gala, you know, people are out here enjoying themselves. There is a wonderful community spirit, and I hope that we can see that moving into the future and that it is part of the legacy from Fair Share Trust funding.
Up until Dimitri came on the scene, we were struggling to get young people involved with anything other than whatever young people get involved with that you don't particularly want to pursue. But since Dimitri's been involved, that's developed quite positively. And as a consequence of which, I don't think we're getting anywhere near the kind of antisocial behaviour problems and youth nuisance and things like that. We're certainly not getting no reports like we used to be getting 3 or 4 years since, where everybody was sounding off about what the attitude of young people were. The attitude of them seems to be changing.
The Youth Association have had funding from Fair Share since 2011. So we've had funding to develop volunteers within the community to work with young people, to do our detached or street-based youth work, to develop programmes of youth work within Monk Bretton, and to also put on school holiday activities for some of the younger children and people in the community. I think Fair Share is certainly helping the Monk Bretton area. In the couple of years that we've been here, I've seen some of the projects that have run as a result of Fair Share funding, and it's really given a lot to the area. So, for example, with ours, we've now generated approximately 6 or 7 volunteer members of the community who've had no previous experience in volunteering to be able to develop, plan and deliver activities for children, young people and families in school holiday times in Monk Bretton. So Fair Share has provided the Monday Club, which is a youth club for children aged sort of 7 to 12. Fair Share is also providing other community groups with funding for people of all ages, so over 50s, things like the One Stop Shop and other local voluntary community groups.
The One Stop Shop is at the Methodist Church on a Thursday morning, every Thursday from 9:15 to 12:15. We have the police there, housing, credit union, we have tea and toast, we have Zumba, we have chair aerobics, you can be weighed, you can have healthy advice, and you can talk to health trainers if you're depressed or anything. It's a way of getting people out of the house so they're not alone. We have put in a bid for Fair Share money for Monk Bretton for extra cameras, for 4 cameras for Monk Bretton to alleviate some of the fear of crime and try and capture some of the crime that's going on.
We've got a number of these cameras that we loan out to people. Then they're suffering from antisocial behaviour and quality of life issues such as graffiti and dog fouling outside their houses, etc. And we loan them to other people so that we can collect the evidence and then go to the authorities and say, can you take some action on this? What we find is it reduces the fear of crime. It's easy for us to put the camera in. Actually, most of the time people are very reluctant for us to have them back because they feel much safer when the camera's there.
Go! Go on! Hold it, just one hand over. Billy, you're going the wrong way, Billy, come on, that's all you've got, you know.
I've got to say there's been some challenges. I've been administering this fund here for perhaps about 5 years, and I think one of the main challenges has actually been the small geographical area of the Monk Bretton patch. It's not the whole of a ward, and just today I've been speaking to the lady from the Monk Bretton Priory who can't understand why they've not been included. Unfortunately, geographically, they're at the bottom of a hill, and most of the funding sits here in what you might call the old village at the top of the hill. It's caused a lot of problems, you know, in terms of the geographical requirements and the fact that 50% or more of the beneficiaries have got to come from within that area. So that's been quite difficult to deliver and control. There's been other challenges in terms of working with other agencies. I think sometimes when we've employed people through a third party, perhaps their focus has not been on what they should have been delivering for Fair Share. They've perhaps had loyalties to their employer rather than the programme. And again, that's presented some challenges.
It's given us that something that we have lost. When in 1947 the local authority said, we're knocking valuable historic buildings down. And it was taking the heart out of people. And now I sense a great sense of belonging. I'm glad I live at Monk Bretton. I'm glad we've got these facilities. We never had a church where we could go and have dancing and so forth. We couldn't have a derby until with no central building. And we've created a central building, not only for the Methodist Church, for the community. Something we can say, that is better. We like to live at Monk Bretton. We've got some of our heritage back.